Hey, have you ever been to Romania? Do you know where it is?
Especially on the countryside, the people are incredible. The hospitality is great.
They are so open and they are putting everything on the table. You're living, I don't know, like a balloon full of food and.
Hi, I'm Allan, Karl, WorldRider, and thank you for tuning in to WorldRider TV, my YouTube channel. Hey, I got a quick question for you. Have you ever been to Romania? Do you even know where it is? What about Germany? What if I told you a friend of mine decided to leave a family wine business in his native country of Germany and move to Romania and start making wine there? Did you even know the Romanians grew grapes and made wine? Well, I invite you to meet Oliver Bauer, an incredible winemaker. He was recruited by, you could say, a princess and a count, sort of, to rejuvenate a centuries-old estate and winery that had been in the royal family, that's right, a royal family, for generations. Yeah, but it was taken away from them, sadly, during the Soviet and communism times. So the family fled Romania, moved to France, and then ultimately Germany. Now, after the fall of communism and the Romanian Revolution of 1989, they returned to Romania to put new heart into that estate and winery. The family turned to Oliver Bauer and asked him if he would come down and start the process. That generation's old winery is called Prince Stirbey, and it needed a lot of work. Oliver thought it would take about a year. He'd stay in Romania, reboot the winery, and help the family get back into the wine business and bring that winery and estate back to its previous glory. He then would return home to his homeland in Germany and move on from there. But the story is much richer. He fell in love with a region there called Oltenia and a little town called Dragosani, which sits on the Olt River. He also fell in love with the wine. That's right. Romania does and always did make great wine, except perhaps under the dark shadow of that totalitarian regime. So Oliver Bauer made his home and made wines for Prince Stirbey for many years, an estate winery focused on almost entirely indigenous grape varietals. He finally got the courage, the cash, and the confidence to buy his own property, to build his own winery, and to make wines under his own name, Bauer. He still makes wines for Prince Stirbey, but at Bauer he has a little more flexibility to source incredible fruit not only from his own vineyard, but from all over Romania. And he produces wines from both indigenous and international varietals. Now, I had a wonderful afternoon sitting down with Oliver and his wife Raluca on a patio at his winery overlooking the Olt River. Raluca cooked an incredible meal of grilled baby goat, zucchini, and this incredible dip sauce called zakuska, a recipe from Raluca's grandmother, another generations-old heritage. It's made with roasted eggplant and red bell peppers, and it's just yummy. Afterward, I got a chance to chat with Oliver on the patio of his winery. I got him to open up and share his story, a bit of his wisdom, and his philosophy. He's very charismatic, very animated, and an incredible winemaker, as during our conversation, of course, we were sipping Bauer wines. Even better, after our conversation, I had a chance to talk with his wife, Raluca. We walked out to the far part of the property, looked over the Olt River, where she shared with me a little bit about her life in the wine business, and married to a German who is a winemaker. After, I had a chance to take a little stroll through that Bauer vineyard. You're going to love this. He's very passionate, he has lots of wisdom, and he's so much fun to hang out with. And you're going to get a lot from it, too. A little bit about the Romanian wine business, maybe about Romanian wine, and maybe about happiness and finding possibilities. That's right. Yeah. So listen, hey, before we get going, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel here. Just hit that button right down there. It really means a lot. And leave a comment. What do you think about Romania? Have you been there? Have you had Romanian wine? We'd love to hear you. So comment in the section below. That would be fantastic. Hey, here's my chat with the very passionate Oliver Bauer. Okay, so here we are picking up. This is Oliver Bauer here at Bauer Vineyards, also the winemaker at Stirbey, Prince Stirbey, Crema, Prince Stirbey, Crema, Bauer. I'll get these names right. We've had an amazing lunch here with some baby goat and zucchini and this, what was the name of the sauce that Grandma makes? Zakuska, which they think is Turkish inspired, but it's pretty much made everywhere here in Romania by the older generation.
It's pretty popular,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But let's just talk about how we want to go back to the story of how a German guy ends up in Romania making wine, looking over the Olt River with these amazing views.
Oh, I think the answer is pretty simple. Also, if it may appear in the first view, it may appear a little bit, let's say, unbelievable and strange. What the heck, German to search in Romania? And I'm getting this a lot. What the hell have you been thinking about when you moved to Romania? But the answer is quite simple: possibility.
Possibility.
Here you can, if you have, and this is what I got. I got a really good education. Germany is really performant concerning education, especially if it comes to craftsmanship and these kind of professions. The problem in Germany is it's quite crowded, and if you have not, let's say, a rich or let's say a liquid background, you have kind of a hard time to go somewhere. Either you're entering you're going into a huge company, a huge winery, and then you're waiting until the people in front of you die away, and then you can come after them. But that was not really my goal. I wanted to make wine, and I wanted soon later to have also my own stuff where I can get my own crazy ideas put into reality. And yes, the possibility was there, and after the first seconds of being in shock because it was Romania what was offering me this possibility, I came here, I fell in love with the country and all the people. It was completely different than what I knew. Poorer, of course, more problems concerning infrastructure, logistics, daily life in general. But as I said, possibilities, and here I was able to do together with my wife in 10, 12 years what would have taken us, if it would have been possible in the first place, it would have taken us 2 generations in Germany. And this is what, for me, it's such a pity, because everybody always talks about the negatives, about the downsides, and especially youngsters always think that the grass is way greener on the other side of the hill. I don't think so. I think countries like Germany, they have still this momentum. The wheel is still spinning, but the engine is off. This is not what it used to be anymore. And the engine starts now to get momentum here, and we need people to give this momentum more force, and then it will spin faster and faster. And this is tough, of course. In the first 2 years, I been completely alone here in the hillside, only me and my dogs. And when I turned off the bulb, it was dark here. No, nothing else was there was no light anymore burning on the entire hillside. But this time is over. So we are now somewhere else. And
what year was that?
In 2004. In 2003 I came first time here for 2.5 months, and then I thought, having this great idea of becoming also me to become a flying winemaker in a costume, a nice jet, a nice car, and very important people, a laptop and a cell. Yes, but the Romanians pretty fast made pretty clear that no, it will not going to happen. If you want to do something here, come move your ass here and do something here yourself. And it's true, I cannot make wine by a fax or by email. I have to be here. I have to see the wines. I have to talk with the people. I have to see the people. They have to see me. You have to stay next to the guys, and then you have absolutely loyal and motivated people helping you to do what has to be done. And as I said, the potential of this country is genius. The problem is the lack of people who are willing and also capable to put the value this country offers in value. So all these possibilities to be put in value in a proper way, not only to make a fast bunch of money, but also to create something what will last also the next generation and the generation after this one. And unfortunately, this vision or this desire to create something what is not bringing you immediately a lot of money and but satisfaction, a huge amount of satisfaction. But this is not wanted anymore. The first question I always get is, how much can I earn? How much can I get? How much profit do you have? Or when I'm giving interviews to newspapers, a lot of times they ask me, what are your numbers? What's your profit? What's your cash flow? This is not really interesting, and I also won't tell. If you're talking about wine, about why I'm doing what I'm doing, then let's talk about that. But let's not talk about numbers. It's not interesting because it's out of the context. It should not be that important. When people are asking somebody who's doing something with his hands, I don't know, a carpenter or a tailor or a analog or a vintner, whatever. Of course we love what we are doing. Of course we love to work with our hands and we love our products. But it's not only the product, it's the entire environment. For me this is not a job, it is a lifestyle. Yeah. And of course you have to like that. If you want to live in a town and if you want to travel the world and to meet a lot of people and so on in the town, then you're completely wrong here. But if you love to work with nature, to have animals around you, to be part of the nature, to meet a lot of clients, people, different nations. If you want to work with, to work with your hands, or you're doing everything, yeah, absolutely everything. But it has to be meant for you. Otherwise, you won't be happy, and otherwise, I don't think you would be also successful. And this is what I feel such a pity about. Most of the people don't do anymore what they want because they think they cannot afford to do that. But what they are supposed to do and what seems to be the best choice. And that's why we have such a lot of, let's say, burnout syndromes. We have such a lot of, let's say, unsatisfied or unhappy persons, unable to, let's say, even to define anymore what they want. Most of the time, I hear that, oh, let's work, and then when we stop working, then let's live. I prefer to do the other way around. Let's define life with your work. So I'm not standing tomorrow. I'm not getting out of the bed thinking, "Oh boy, again I have to go in the cellar or in the vineyard." I'm standing up and saying, "This has to be done now, and we will do that." And later on, like if guys like you are showing up, I have no problem to sit half a day with them here, just have a good chat and kill some bottle of wines, have some good food, and then that's it. That's the lifestyle I'm talking about.
That is the lifestyle. So speaking about that lifestyle, we were talking about. You were making wine. That's good to drink, like we're drinking right now. But man, it's good for food, and how food and wine.
That comes a long line of other products after the wine.
Yeah.
So it's you're never alone. So it's a lot of times a lot of people are asking me if I'm not feeling alone or bored here. No, guys, I'm not bored. If I want to have silence, or if I want to have my find my inner peace, I have either to go in the forest and to bury myself somewhere and throw myself in the old river, because normally you're never alone here. Either colleagues are dropping by, or clients, or friends, or family, or all the time you have somebody here, and this is it's a nice socializing and what I really appreciate is the diversity of people. You not have only, let's say, a certain kind of a certain part of the society. You're getting here from the normal worker up to, I don't know, politicians, bankers, managers, small business owners. You're getting the entire range of society here. And what I consider to be so fascinating and so beautiful, if it comes to wine, you can have a guy from Russia, a guy from the States, a guy from Germany, a guy from China, I don't know, a guy from South America, whatever. We have 10 different nations at a table, and lately after the second glass, they all talk together the same language. And it's so not important what you are, from where you are. It's only this own interest. Let's have nice time. Let's have good food and a good glass of wine. Let's socialize. Let's be human. Let's have some fun.
Let's be human. And this is what I like to say: is a glass of wine with good food takes you beyond borders.
Yeah, exactly. At least in Romania, it's still in this way. Yeah, and we don't need some snobbish behavior. So we don't have to make this kind of product something for the elite. I want to have wines, also my wines, which are not cheap. I cannot produce cheap wines, therefore we are too small, and therefore it is too big. But I want that at least a guy, even without huge possibilities concerning money, to be able to drink a bottle of my wines. And this is because wine should not be something only for a teeny tiny small group of rich or of privileged people. We have had here students with rucksacks, and they were not able to pay a bottle of wine. So, and if I like the guy, and if we have a good time, then I was not trouble to give them, for example, to give them a bottle or two for them to enjoy. Because for sure, when they are then done studying and they have money, they will for sure buy, hopefully, wine, not necessarily from me, but from somebody else. And I know when I was a student, when I was backpacking and traveling Europe and no money, I still remember the guys who gave me a hand and let me in, and also gave me wine, and not always the most expensive, but they gave me a wine. And I also remember these guys who didn't. And so far, now I can afford even these wines, but before that will happen, the hell will freeze. I will not pay a cent for these bottles. Wine should be something accessible for everybody, not in each amount you want. This is clear, but it's not possible. But at least a bottle of wine should not break you. It's ridiculous.
It's good. So here in Romania, we're drinking right now the Bauer 2017 Merlot, which by the way is lovely. And we talked earlier about the Sauvignon Nas, which is another whole animal. What are the price ranges here in Romania? You know.
Oh, you have from the price ranges are normally from from €2 to.
But Bauer wines.
Bauer wines is about €10 to €25.
Okay, 10 to 25 euros. You know, the quality that I'm drinking of this Merlot. What's the Merlot? Yeah, how much?
€15.
15 euros. Yeah, which is probably about $17, $18. You in the U.S. would pay $40 to $80 to get this quality of Merlot.
We ain't there yet.
yeah, and you can't find these in the U.S. But I'm saying that by the time if you were to find this quality, and I'm sorry, my colleagues from the U.S. You won't be able to find Bauer yet, but in the future we hope so. You work at another winery, and you made a sparkling wine. And I just wanted to talk about that. Do you make a Bauer sparkler?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a Bauer sparkler. But the one there was from a unique, tough-to-grow grape.
And you still remember the name?
Yeah, it's...
I'm sorry that I'm stealing.
Oh, no, the Merlot. Yeah, see, the thing is, this is what happens when you do some tasting. He's challenged me on the name of the grape. But it's
Novak. It's Novak.
Novak. And I knew that. I got photos of it, and it's on tape. You're a kind of a Novak ambassador.
Ambassador. I would call it rather fetishist. I really love this.
Fetishist.
I really love this variety. First of all, I love it because nobody else believes in it, and I don't know too many red varieties with this versatility. There's Pinot Noir. You can make nice rosés, a nice complex red wine, and incredible good sparklers. Pinot Noir. And of course, you can also make sparkler out of Shiraz or out of Cake Francoche or whatever. But it's never the performance of a Pinot Noir. And I see Novak in a similar position. You can make incredible complex and nice, smooth, elegant, feminine red wines with incredible good aging potential. You can make very good rosés, and yes, I think you can also make very good sparklers. And therefore, I call this variety our substitute for Pinot Noir in regions where you have continental climate conditions, so very hot, dry summers and very, very strong, tough winters. Unfortunately, everything comes with a price, and so it's not only my one of my eye candies, it's also one of my divas, because it's really tough to handle and demanding, and in both ways, in the vineyard and in the cellar. But yes, I think this is the beauty. What comes easy goes easy. Is for me an effort, and this is what's my job. This is because of what I am here. I have to find a way to handle that and to put this beauty in a bottle and simply for people to enjoy it. But it's true. So far, not too many fans amongst my colleagues. Yeah.
Nobody's really bottling 100% Novak nor making sparkling out of it. And I'm going to tell you, I've been on this road trip for some time here, and I have to say it was probably my favorite sparkler I've had, with its elegance, balance, and beauty. So I want to hand it to you there.
He's only saying this because it was his last sparkler so far.
It's what's
the last ones are always the best.
But what was the best glass of wine you had? The last one I just said. No, it truly was very, very awesome. The cool thing is, when he poured it to me, I didn't get it in a flute.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about flutes. And I'm not talking the kind you play in the orchestra.
No, absolutely not. No, the flute is something to show off and to if the visual aspect is important, then be it in a movie or when you're welcoming people and you want simply to look fancy and nice. But like with all wines, also sparklers are wines and they need space. And if you're prisoning a wine and filling it in a small flute, you may have a nice mousseux, but it's not what I want to have. I want to have the smell, I want to have the color, I want to have also the mouth feeling on the palate. And concerning this, a good white wine glass beats a flute by a mile if it comes to this kind of performance. And so you won't have a mousseux, but on that. Not this kind of performance mousseux, because all the flutes and all the so-called champagne glasses have little imperfections inside of the glass, so the carbon dioxide can erupt and become visible. We don't have this on a normal wine glass, on a normal white wine glass. But the smell, the taste, and everything it's another league.
Yeah,
it's another approach. Yeah.
Since we're gonna just kind of geek on the wine a bit more here, the orange wine we had today, which how many people are doing orange wines in Romania? Is it become a thing?
One guy I really appreciate and I really like, it's Marco Feltrin from Pedro Vaselo. They are making an orange wine.
Is that near
Rekaș? Yes.
Okay.
And Rekaș makes an orange wine. Liliac makes an orange wine. There are some other people also claiming that they're making orange wine, but for me, orange wine demands necessarily at least 2 or 3 weeks on skins. Everything what's below 2 weeks on skins is a maturation, but it's not an orange wine. But there are more and more people experimenting and also daring to do different, to apply different winemaking techniques, older winemaking techniques, to obtain a more distinctive product. And this is what I salute. The idea is very, very nice. What's the result? It depends on each producer. It depends what you want to have. But the innovation or the approach I salute. It's really, really nice to see that at least some of us are trying to do different stuff and trying to find a niche with some specialties. What only you with a few other wineries are offering. Because I think this is what Romania is made for. We are not set. We are not big enough, and it's also a pity with the potential to make mass production. We should become something like France with its regions, similar regions you have also in Romania, and only way smaller. And that's why I'm saying we should concentrate on the so-called, I hate this expression, but it's the way it's called. It is called fine wine market. So it's not, we don't have to sell bulk wine or whatever. It's not our business. We are too small, and it's also too expensive to produce here. And the potential is simply too high. It's too rich. It's a pity to make out of a. If you can make a nice out of a block of marble, you can make a nice statue. You can sell the block of marble. I would prefer to make a nice statue, even if the statue will be always smaller, and perhaps more difficult to sell. But at least it has way more to say, and it defines you in a way better way than the rough block of marble, which you can find everywhere. Not everybody is able to see and to take out the statue in this block. And this is what I want to do here. I want to show the people the diversity, the richness of the region here, because this is where I am, this is where I work, and not to do the best, because for me the best, if it comes to art or taste, personal taste, the best is very, very subjective. You cannot say this is the best and this is the worst. For me perhaps, but for you it's something else. But I want to be authentic and typical. This is I would love to when I one time close my eyes, I would love to close them with the idea that people, if they want to buy a Grand Boucher or a Novak or a Sauvignon Nas, then they will think on the region here of Dragășan. So if you want a Pinot Noir, go to Burgundy. If you want to have a Riesling, go to Rheingau. If you want to have a Novak, sorry guys, you have to come to Oltenia. This is simply what it is.
What do you think? I mean, when we think of defining an identity for a region or even a country, let's talk more simple as country. Going back in the years, Australia built its winemaking reputation on Shiraz.
Yes, and now they are suffering because of this monocultural idea.
Well, especially given the way that they make that wine,
Of course. No. It's similar with the New Zealand.
New Zealand and Sauvignon
Blanc and Pinot Noir. They are so struggling finding an own identity because, let's face it, for a normal wine consumer, the difference between a 70 euro Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand and a 30, 40 euro Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand are minor. This is not. You cannot really understand what's now the main difference if you're not really into it. I know, and there are also exceptions. I know, granted, but the vast majority is in this way. And of course, then if the difference or differences are hard to discover and how to detect, then of course the better price wins. And this is what I think should be avoided. I think we are going on the horse from the wrong side. We should first install a high quality, whatever the definition may be, but a higher quality wine culture in this country. And then if we have some really powerful horses pulling the wagon, then we can also allow ourselves to have some huge wineries selling with a good reputation, fairly good made, normal, daily, whatever, mass production wine for, let's say, more inexpensive money. The French are doing this in a perfect way. I don't know how many. I think it's a couple of thousands of different wineries only in Bordeaux, and if we are talking about some, we are talking about 100, 120 of them. The rest you don't even know them.
You don't even know.
But it's all Bordeaux. It's Bordeaux, and Bordeaux equal, I don't know, Mouton Rothschild or Lafite, whatever. This is Bordeaux. Nobody knows Chateau X, Y, or whatever. It's also interesting. It's Bordeaux. And this is exactly the way I think it should be done. You need an elite. You need certain wineries which are typical and authentic and distinctive for their regions. And this necessary for this is that we are respecting our strengths. So I'm here in Altenia. I am from Germany. I love Riesling, but even if I can love Riesling as much as I may, I will never plant Riesling here. It's not functioning. It's simply not functioning. It's not a region for Riesling. And if we are respecting this and if we are using our strength, then I'm pretty sure we can also create our own brand, our own distinction. The people will recognize. And then you can say, okay, here we have Novak, you can get this here, or perhaps a little bit over there, but that's it. You will not find it everywhere. And I think this is what people are seeking, authenticity and something regional.
So is there a varietal here that, like Novak, that, I mean, granted it's this part, you're not going to find it in Transylvania or Dobrogei, but is there a varietal that could be, people say, God, Romania, it's like one person put it this way, a door opener to the country.
Yes, absolutely. If you're talking about a variety which is, let's say, growing in different regions, adding, or let's say, resulting in different expressions and styles, in the white variety is for sure Fetasca Regala. It's the Royal Maiden grape. It's absolutely versatile, absolutely beautiful variety, but also completely underestimated because normally it was used for cheap bulk wines, huge productions, huge yields. But for me, as a variety, if in the right hands and handled as it should be handled, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Red wines, we have a little bit of an issue because I would say now Fetasca Negra, but we have way too less under vines to call this let's say a horse that pulls the wagon.
Yeah.
But this could be a variety also, Negro d'Agashan. The problem with especially red wines is always, and especially if it comes to red wines like Fetasca Negra, very vigorous, let's say, accumulating a lot of sugar, very easy to make, overripe, really hefty, really fat wines, jammy wines. And of course the people are doing it, and because it sells. You can feel something, you have a lot of alcohol, a lot of color, a lot of taste. And I'm always very, very careful because the more jammy, the more intense, the more over-extracted it is, the easier it is to be copied, because we are not the only country with, let's say, very warm weather conditions. Huh?
Yeah.
So I seek for my wines, or in general, if I'm buying a wine, I seek elegance, balance, and typicity, and not in terms of the best. I want to have, let's say, a typical wine, and if it's for me a good wine, it's okay. If somebody else says for me this is the best, it's also okay. But to be typical and not bended towards a certain demand of a market, or a certain demand of the marketing department, or a certain demand, I don't know from whom.
Yeah.
Simply something authentic and typical, regional from each particular region. And then if you have this kind of reputation, and if you are coherent and continuously offering a good quality, then I think the success will come alone. You don't even have to imply even more than that. But it's tough. It's a long road.
But the clear thing that I can say from sitting at this side of the table, having had wines from Bauer as well as Stirbey, Romania, and that this is why I came back here, is making great wines, and to have a German who came from a winemaking family, who pulled roots from Germany and planted them here in Dragașan, is a testament right there, because it's not a Romanian trying to sell you wine right here. Nobody's trying to sell you anything, but what we're trying to say is there are possibilities.
No, I have to add something that I would like to say that I'm quite Altanized. I became quite a part of this country. It's inevitable. You if you like the lifestyle and the mentality of, let's say, looking at one's life, then it's inevitable that you're also, let's say, taking some things over. I like the idea that I will become a symbiosis or something like a melange amongst what's good of the German mentality and the German kind of being, way of being, and the Romanian, respectively the Altanian way of being, because I think this is a pretty cool mixture. An Altanian German, I think a kind of a new breed or something, to know how to live and to enjoy life, and also to enjoy the simple things in life, but also to add a little bit in this entire equation precision, durability, and quality thinking. This is, I think, a pretty cool goal to become.
This is good, and as you said even before, it's just even drilling it down. But I like that melange, like you said. But doing what you want to do, and this is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, of course. I think every job or in every profession you have days they really suck. It's simply you want to throw everything out and to leave and to do something else, simply to run away. But as I said, the complexity and the wide range of different things you can do, the different people you're meeting, you have to do almost everything. You're never getting bored. You can never say no. Now I know everything. Now I'm there. Now this is what I will do for the rest of my life, and this is how it will be. No, it's every year, especially when you're working together with nature. She always puts you into trouble. If you one time you feel safe and it's so nice and you're sitting outside having a nice barbecue, and then in the next half hour she sends you some nice hailstorms or whatever, then she says don't be too sure all the time. It's not that easy, and it's not. And this is, I think, a huge, or let's say most very important and thing to learn. We always think everything is possible, and especially when it comes to food or to, let's say, what nature produces, that it has no real value. It can be cheap. An egg costs 5 cents, and I don't know, a bread is not allowed to be more expensive than €1.50 or whatever, stuff like that. And when you see how much effort it takes to produce, to create a kilogram of apples, of grapes, of wheat or cereal, whatever, corn, whatever, then you get a completely different approach and a completely different respect in front of what you're eating, what you're drinking. And I think this is something what especially this profession teaches you in a really good way, to get respect in front what you have at the table, because you know how much effort and how much, let's say, sweat and tears are in the back.
Yeah, this is just not something sitting on a shelf that you just pull off. Because
the problem. This is the main problem in general. This anonymity. You're buying something, clothes, food, beverage, whatever. You're buying something, but you don't know the people or the thing behind it. And this is why I always invite, I'll say, always encourage people, go there, watch the production process, ask questions, demand to see where it's done, how it's done, and why it's done in this way, because then you're getting a completely different approach to the product and approach equal respect. Yeah. If you have been one time in a winery, and it can be the lousiest wine ever, but if you will have a bottle at home, you will remember this moment when you have been there and someone explained you something about this wine. And this is something what you can never, let's say, a visit to a magazine or to a restaurant can never match that. It can be a really nice experience. But, for example, if I'm in a restaurant and I like what I ate, I always try to get into the kitchen. I always want to see the kitchen because I would like to sit in the kitchen. I don't need a fancy table. I want to sit next to the cook, and I would like to tell him, please, come on, bring it on. Let's indulge now in food. Let's enjoy something, because this is exactly what it is all about. And then you're understanding it way better. You can enjoy it better, and yeah, it's like going to a concert, in a classical concert. If you know nothing about music, you can perhaps see that it's beautiful. You like it or not. But if you know what's behind, if you know what it takes to play this or to combine such a lot of instruments to get one whole in impeccable beauty, then you're not only enjoying it, you're indulging in it. And this is exactly what I want for my clients when they're, in general, when people are drinking and eating. Enjoy it. Don't eat or drink only because you're thirsty, you're hungry, and that's it. Or don't eat or drink only because it's expensive. I remember the best mussels I ever ate have been in Portugal, near to the seaside, in a really shitty barrack. But it was simply genius, because I saw the mama who cooked it. I saw that from where they came, and it was perfect. You cannot not whatever starred Michelin restaurant, you can have the same experience. It's simply something pure. It's something authentic and yes. Pure for me.
Pure and authentic is the word.
This is the word, yes. And I'm really highly recommending this to everybody. Go to the guys, talk to the guys, enjoy it. And I don't know not one winemaker or not one winery. I know, of course, there are, let's say, more anonymous ones, especially the really well-known ones. This is not as open as we are, because this is more like a business, because they have to do this in this way, otherwise they will be run over. But if you have a small family-run winery, I don't know not one who is not opening the doors, and really happy if they can talk and also exchange opinions. For us, it's, as a winemaker, you're always also kind of a narcissist. You're sitting on your cloud and you think, oh, now I have good ideas and I have talent and I want to do this now. I want to see myself into this wine. But if you're sitting on this cloud and you're sitting alone there, and beneath this cloud the people are passing by and they're giving a crap about what you're sitting on this cloud, then sooner or later you will be either out of business or nobody will even talk to you anymore. And so the contact to the ground, to the people who are in the end paying and drinking your wines, is essential for me. And therefore I like to have people here. Also critics, it's not a problem, as long as it's constructive, of course. Yeah. But I don't need, let's say, a wine critic coming here giving my wines points, because they are normally not buying the wine. It's a nice to have, but it's not a must have. I prefer to have the people coming here and understanding what we are doing, and then they are buying the wine because they are convinced about it, and not because a third or fourth person gave a good rate or a bad rate or whatever, and this is then the reason because what they are deciding to or not to buy. So it's an effort. I know that it demands time, money, and also, yes, nerves for sure. And there will be for sure also disappointments, but that's the nice thing on wine. You're never there. You can travel 100 years. You can drink 100 wines a day, and becoming 100 years old, you will never have had all of them.
You'll never know.
No. And it's never ending. It's never ending. And this is the fun thing. It's also for us, for me, I make over 30 wines every year, but they're never the same because the year is different. Yeah. And this is it's simply fascinating. It's nerving from time to time, because sometimes you also wish simply, let's get into a routine, please. I just want to press. I also just want to press a button and then I would know the result. No, it's not going to happen. Not in the wine business.
You can't do that. No? So, other than, of course, I'm going to say, people, you should come to Romania because there's a whole world to be explored here. There's castles. There's, thousands of years old time of cities and villages, but what would you say, closing this up, top 3 reasons somebody should say, look, you could, we've all been, or at least we hope we've maybe been to Spain, Italy, France, London, Paris, anywhere, but, I know Romania is not on a lot of people's lists, but, for those who want to have something different and get away from tourists, Barcelona, whatever, Romania has a world here. What would 3 things say?
Landscape, history, individuality.
Landscape, history, and individuality. And then I'll say the 4th, Bauer Vineyards, Stirbey, and there's diverse, the Dragashan.
No, but sorry,
Yeah.
what I get a lot, especially from people from abroad when they're visiting us, when they're getting out of the cars or the buses or with whatever they can, or the motorcycles, with whatever the transportation they come. They're always stepping out, and the first thing is something like their faces are freezing, and then their eyes becoming bigger, and the mouth starts to. And then the 80% of the cases, the first thing is, we didn't expect that. And it's not only here, because Romania as a country has such a bad and unjustified bad reputation. A lot of, at least the Germans, a lot of Germans would not even consider to come here. And this is such a pity, because concerning nature, people, it's about to change. This is also, we are also becoming, let's say, more kind of a Western kind of society, but still, especially on the countryside, the people are incredible. Their hospitality is great. They're warm and welcoming, and it's especially when you're from abroad, when you're foreigner. And nature. In the beginning, when I came here in the first years, I was literally every day I was stumbling over plants, animals I knew only from books from Germany. So in Germany they're either under protection or distinct, and here it's going on your nerves, because you have either to kill them or to take them away 100 times because it's growing everywhere. It's simply amazing still. So that's why I'm saying, and the culture, history, it's huge here. It's absolutely huge here. Those let's say unpleasant decades of communism, I think we should let this behind. I also tell this a lot of times to Romanians. It used to be an excuse, but it's not valid anymore. It's not. We cannot rest now we cannot always excuse ourselves because of these less delightful 60 or almost 60 years. This is not good anymore. We should look forward, and people should lose their prejudices if it comes to countries like Romania. And as I said, I have had people and visitors from all over the world, literally from all over the world, and not one. Different cultures, different women, men, kids, different languages, traditions, but you name it. Completely different people from all over the world. Not one says, boy, so fucking ugly here, I will never come back again. Everybody, unisono, they all said, so nice, we didn't expect it, people are nice, food is good. It was completely mind-blowing, really cool. And it's not talking about wine, as you mentioned it. There are mountains, there is seaside, there is forests. Romania still has, I think it's still this way, the biggest areas, connected areas of old forests in Europe, aside Russia, but Russia is a huge country. So it's such a rich country, and we know so little about, and I'm including myself in this before I came here. We know so little about, and we always, let's say, we let prejudices take our decisions, or take over our decisions, and I think you can tell this even better. You traveled way more than I did. I don't think there's a country not worth visiting because we don't know it. Only by watching or reading a travel report or watching TV, you will not know a country. You have to go there to meet the people, to see what they are doing, to see how they are, to see what they think, and then you can decide either like it or not. But I'm pretty sure, at least where I have been in countries which were, let's say, less popular, I never have been disappointed. I always learned something new, and I always saw something new, what was adding to my own experience and to my own, let's say, point of view. I think and this is, I think, the biggest gift Romania gave to me, I became a real cosmopolitan. I'm really open-minded if it comes to nations and to different people, and this is something really great. For me, pre-justices are not exist anymore if it comes to nations or people. I want to see them, I want to get known to them, I want to be there. Of course I'm listening. If people like you are coming and telling me something, look, I have been in Georgia and this, of course I will collect this information.
Yeah.
But if I will never dare again to judge over a country, over a nation, only by hearsay. I want to, if I will tell somebody my opinion, this person can be sure that I have been there and that I know about what I'm talking. And I think this is pretty important.
First to say, yeah, exactly. Well, listen, that's Oliver Bauer here at Bauer Vineyards. We're in Dragașan, Romania. It's a wine region overlooking the Olt River.
Okay, we're on the terrace here at Crama? Bauer. Or other words in English, Bauer Vineyards, Bauer Winery, with Raluca or Raluca? Raluca. Raluca Bauer. How did you convince a German to come here to Romania?
Unfortunately, I haven't convinced him. He convinced me to come here on the top of the hill. He came here to vinify for Stirbey in 2003, and he fell in love with a peasant girl, which is called Crâmpoșie. It's a Romanian grape variety. So he really fell in love with this, and then he met me.
Ah.
Yeah.
So he did. He Crâmpoșie, which was the one I tried at Stirbey, right?
Yes. So he really fell in love with this one.
He fell in love, and then he found you.
Yeah.
What a great operation you're here now. Who really is the boss, though? That's at the end of the day.
No, as I said, Oliver is all the time calling me the boss, but I think like in a dog pack, I'm really the omega, the one which is just providing food, but really the stupid one, no?
But not really.
No.
Not really. So we had some great food today with the amazing wines, including the goat. Tell me again about the what your mom made.
Zakúska. Zakúska is a mixture of 23 different ingredients, all from their garden. So they are not buying something to put inside. Of course, they also count salt and so on, which is
As
also an ingredient.
Yes, yeah.
As all the cooks. So this is a mixture of different vegetables, mainly with paprika and how is this called? In Romanian language is vinete.
Vinete. But a spice of some sort, or
also spice of paprika, also homemade.
Okay.
And they are making annual 100 kilos just to feed their kids.
Their kids, and they and it stores forever, right? It's kind of
yes. It's without any problem. You can store it, and it's really cool.
And you cooked the goat, and the sauce that's made. That sauce was off the charts. What was that made of?
This is
secret.
The secret.
Okay.
Of the secret ingredients.
We're gonna have to come back here.
What we are doing here is to cook 100% with local products. I don't want to buy something, I don't know, from a supermarket or hypermarkets. I want to buy things which are produced here in the region, because I don't know, if in France you're going to drink a wine and then to mix it in a nice way with a cheese, a local cheese. Also here we want to make the same thing. If you're coming here, you're drinking Crâmpoșie, and then you're trying later on a rosé with the goats or whatever else. This has to be related.
This has to be related, because you want to eat and drink from the same...
from there.
From the land.
Roots, the roots are there.
Yeah. Did you ever think this would happen here?
No. I'm all the time, although Oliver is really mad when I'm telling him this, I'm telling him that I am living his dream. He was for sure dreaming when he was a kid that he wants to have his own winery and I don't know, to vinify wines for himself. I never dreamed that, because I'm an economist. I've had no relation with wine. but I consider this cool to be now here and to, meaning it's nothing negative. Everything is really, really positive.
This is cool, but this is also school.
School.
Yeah.
He's for sure my teacher.
Yeah.
And the hard one. So,
Is he?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he?
A really
Because you
hard
guys are all doing it by yourselves, right?
Yes.
Because there's nobody else running around here. You're cooking. You're in the wine cellar selling. You're,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you're in the vineyard too.
Yeah, I have to admit, in the vineyards, I suck.
Okay.
I don't know how to make things in a nice way. But Oliver is for sure all the time in the vineyards, and I'm taking care about clients, invoicing, everything. Meaning,
Business, yeah. And wow, you're so successful because Oliver tells me you pretty much run out of wine every year.
yes. We have some wines which are just the moment when we are launching it on the market, then we are immediately on zero stock.
Wow, that's amazing.
No.
I asked Oliver this question before, but a lot of people that in North America, even in Western Europe, Romania is not necessarily on their list. They're thinking Barcelona, Paris. Maybe I want to go to Rome. I want to go to Venice, London, Amsterdam. But really, isn't there new worlds to be discovered? Why would somebody come here? Why would you recommend?
Oh, first of all, because of the landscape. It's such a beautiful nature and intact, and also Oliver says that he found here insects and birds he only knew from books. So the nature is really, really nice, and the people, once you get to know them, they are so open and they are putting everything on the table. You're living, I don't know, like a balloon full of food and
like you did today with me, yeah.
But really a nice experience, meaning really nice experience, food and in general cultural experience. It's really nice.
Yeah, I agree, and also I think they should come to Bauer Vineyards here. Or,
and we have really nice wines.
Yeah, very good wines. So what's your go-to Bauer wine? Like, if you just it's at the end of the day, you've invoiced 25 people, you're answered the phone all day long, and you're gonna sit down, look out here at the Olt River, and just say, I want a glass. What would you get?
Oh, I have two preferences. One would be the sparkler, Johanna. But this I'm never getting, also because it's sold out. And the rosé out of Negru de Dragășani. It's genius.
It's genius.
It's recharging my batteries every single time when I'm drinking this.
I love it. I see you just bottled. I was just down in the cellar, and the new vintage is bottled.
Yeah.
This is a great thing. Well, great. I really appreciate having your mom's recipe, having the great food, and tasting the great wines, and letting your husband, since you're the boss, hang out with me for so long today.
Thank you very much for coming.
Okay, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Quickly kind of chime in here and just take you for a walk through the vineyards and see this thing. This place is beautiful. I'm walking out on the Bauer thing. The Olt River is over here, and then just in front of me, of course, are the Bauer Vineyards. They're growing apples, pears, peaches. You got to look at this place because it does look like Tuscany, and it is gorgeous. And here are the vines that Oliver tends to, making some really great wines. And down there, the village of Dragășani on the banks of the Olt River. It's time for people to open their eyes and come to Romania.